Over the proposed separate colonies, I beg your pardon, for Kashmiri Pandits has intensified. JKLF chief Yasin Malik clashed with the policemen on duty yesterday and hurled abuses at them and India. The former terrorist even slapped the policeman on duty in his locality of Mysuma in Srinagar. The policemen who were slapped maintained restraint during this entire scuffle. The entire incident was caught on camera. All right, you saw that entire sequence of event. Yasin Malik, this is not the first time he's a repeat offender. Joining me now for more on this story is Mr. Ravindra Raina. He's MLA from the Bharatiya Janata Party. He's also part of the coalition that rules the state of Jammu and Kashmir. We are also joined by Mr. M.M. Khajuria. He's a former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir from Jammu. Junaid Mattu, spokesperson of the National Conference, is also expected to join us. And in the studio with me, Mr. Pandit, he's an activist. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us for this discussion. Let me come to you first, Mr. Raina. Yasin Malik has not done this for the first time. Yasin Malik has provoked the security forces many times. He has a past of violence. He was a former terrorist. Now, when you see these incidents, these visuals being played of Yasin Malik coming out, slapping the policeman on duty, what is the state of Jammu and Kashmir going to do about it?
Ankit, just give me 30-40 seconds so that I may start from the yesterday's incident. Yesterday when these clashes took place, I was on the way to attend the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly session, which is underway in Srinagar, and sooner I passed this Lal Chowk area, Mysuma area, and I saw some of the youth and police were clashing out, and I saw many of the police officials were there. They have cordoned all the areas, and I asked one of the officers, what's going on? He said, this Yasin Malik, who is under detention, and some of his followers and his colleagues, and they were protesting, and there some clashes took place. And they managed to send me to the assembly hall, and sooner I came back, I was told that this incident happened. This is very unfortunate incident, and I have seen this visual on India Today news channel, and
yes.
I assure you that this terrorist, this former terrorist who is getting directions, dictates from his bosses sitting in POK and in Pakistan, shall never be spared. He will never be spared. Law will definitely take its own course, and this culprit, this is a very serious issue.
Let me bring in my other guests for their opening comments. Mr. Raina, law would take its own course. So before I go to the former DGP, let me just quickly bring you in, Mr. Pandit. We were discussing about this earlier also. Law will take its own course. We have heard this again and again. The governments have changed. A lot of people were expecting, a different posture as far as the BJP, PDP government, the present government, Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. How do you see this, and what do you make of this entire incident, the statement given by Mr. Raina?
See, I sympathize with Mr. Raina. He cannot say any more than this. But let me give you a small background to this man called Yasin Malik. He's a school dropout street urchin who was into petty crime till he caught hold of a gun in 1990 and started shooting Kashmiri Pandits, and then unleashed terrorism that drove the entire community out. His targets were non-combatants, unarmed, retired, old, women and children. That is how brave he is, and that is how human he is. You can't expect any better. He is no respecter of human values, much less people in uniform. But if you say law will take its own course, it is 26 years. He has 28 FIRs on his head. He has murders, rapes, arson on his head. He has terrorism on his head. Has law taken its course?
Okay, let me take that to Mr. Khajuria before I go to Mr. Mattu of the National Conference, and then, of course, I will let Mr. Raina also respond to this. Mr. Khajuria, you have been the man in uniform, you have been the top cop of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. When you see Yasin Malik coming out slapping a policeman who has been asked to do his duty, what is the kind of message that will go across the uniform, across the state? Doesn't it affect the morale of the police, those who are dealing with the, people like Yasin Malik?
I think before I go to this particular episode, let me remind you that there is a very strange, to put it very mildly, a phenomena that has entered the public discourse, that any act or unlawful, any offense committed by a politician is political in nature. So, first thing, important thing is that the politicians in power must learn to take a differentiate between the crimes committed as such and political activities. Now you have had the basic facts being detailed by panelists before me, and if law had actually been allowed to take its course, he would definitely have been in the prison, if not hanged by now. Now, as far as the impact of this on the political morale is concerned, it is disastrous. I am absolutely scandalized to see this thing happening day in and day out. I remember when we joined service, there used to be a story being told to us in academy.
Yes.
In the British days, अगर सिपाही का पगड़ी हिलता है तो ताज बरतानिया हिल जाता है. That is the kind of attitude that the state requires.
Very pertinent and important point you are making there, Mr. Khajuria. Let me quickly now bring in National Conference spokesperson, Mr. Junaid Mattu, thank you so much, Mr. Mattu, for joining us in this discussion. My first question to you, where does the NC stand on this? Shouldn't an example now be made out of Yasin Malik, who for the last 26 years during successive governments has been given a long leash? Yasin Malik has been, governments have been accused of being soft on people like him, and that emboldens a person like him to come out and slap the policemen, those who are there to do their duty.
Ankit, I will take the liberty of not speaking like an SHO on your panel. I will give that liberty to the other worthy panelists. I heard one of the legislators from BJP talk about how this is unacceptable and how these visuals are terrible. It's just amazing. This is the same legislator who assaulted another independent legislator inside the legislative hall, inside the legislative assembly, physically assaulted another MLA. So it's very rich and ironic that he is condemning this assault by Yasin on a policeman. Now, it is not my brief to defend Yasin or to paint a monstrous picture of him. But when you say that successive governments have given him a long leash, you are bypassing the fact that all these cases are court-challaned. So what you are doing is you are expressing your open disdain and contempt against the courts of this state, which has become very fashionable. You are saying that the courts of this state, including the High Court, is compromised, it is biased, it is full of prejudice, and it is incompetent enough that it can't try.
It seems that you are taking the refuge of this legal argument only not to clear your position. Nobody is challenging the courts there, sir. The only question is, this is not the first time we have seen such kind of a behavior, such kind of a boorish behavior from Yasin Malik, and despite that, no action or not strong enough action is taken, and he is emboldened. And when he's emboldened, there are others like him, those who also dare to take these steps. And I'm talking to both our political leaders at a point when there is an increase on the number of attacks on the policemen and the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. Why can't you take just a straight position and at least assure the people that something will be done? There should be political unanimity on this.
Let me answer it. It is not a question of political unanimity. It is a question of objectivity and not having double standards. The same Yasin Malik, who is a citizen of this country, even if he doesn't consider himself to be a citizen of this country, gave a statement that his family members, including his mother and his sister, was assaulted by the police yesterday. Where was your outrage yesterday? There were similar visuals. There is mobile phone footage of his family being humiliated. Where was your outrage yesterday? Listen, I don't have a political agenda on this. I have a very balanced view on this. Let the law take its course. But Ravinder Rana or this Mr. Pandit giving moral lectures on this, it's funny, it's hilarious. if they don't
Let me get Mr. Rana to respond to that. Despite you saying you don't have a political agenda, it's very, very clear the line of your argument here, sir. Mr. Rana, would you like to respond? He's calling you a hypocrite.
First of all, Mr. Junaid Mattu, I have a lot of respect for this my colleague, but the way he is making personal attack, this is not the debate. Come on another day and talk about what happened on that particular day in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly and what were the reasons behind that. You should look into that very
There are no
Let's not digress from the topic, sir. Let's not digress from the topic. Let's come back to Yasin Malik. Mr. Mattu seems to be suggesting that there is a bias. Mr. Malik can come out and allege anything, but the point is, whatever allegations Yasin Malik made, he has been caught on camera slapping the policemen. What should be done about that?
To have another discussion with Ankit ji on India Today News Channel another day. But see, we are at right now we are discussing what happened yesterday at Mesuma area. See, as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, we are a part of the coalition. And see
Mr. Mattu, it won't serve anybody's purpose if we keep speaking over each other. You have spoken, your point has been taken. Let Mr. Ravindra Rana respond to that. Mr. Mattu,
let's not just discuss Yasin, let's discuss
let's not try and replay what Mr. Yasin Malik did on the streets in this debate. Let's just be civil about it. You have spoken.
Being the coalition partner in Jammu and Kashmir government, see.
Mr. Rana, go ahead.
Ankit, though we are the coalition partner in the Jammu and Kashmir government, see how BJP legislators reacted on the attacks on the day before yesterday on BSF patrol party in which 3 of our Jawan attained the martyrdom. And yesterday, during the when the proceedings of assembly were going on, we were informed that another attack took place on Jammu and Kashmir police Jawans in Anantnag, and all the legislators of the Bharatiya Janata Party stood up and raised and demanded the government to take action and demanded reply from the government. Being even the part of the government, we resisted, and we every time raise question wherever we find the wrongs in Jammu and Kashmir. And as far as this Yasin Malik is concerned, he is booked under 28 cases, and on all the 28 cases he is granted bail by the Honorable High Court of the Jammu and Kashmir. We are every time take him on task, and we will never give him space. This is the commitment and firm commitment. And even see how we people operated. Even now, right now, anti-terrorist operations are going on in South Kashmir, and massive hunt operations
I'll get Mr. Mattu to respond to that. But before I go to Mr. Mattu, very quickly, Mr. Pandit, this is the problem. Political parties come, they take whatever stand, but it just seems, as far as the separatists are concerned, as far as terrorism is concerned, there is no unanimity in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. That is the problem that is plaguing that state for many decades now.
To expect a correct stand from National Conference or Junaid Mattu on this issue is to expect the impossible. They are here to absolve the separatist tendencies, the separatist agenda, and even the separatist actions. I'm not surprised. In fact, he used a word called compromised in reference to the courts of Jammu and Kashmir. It is this political party which is compromised in its attitude and in its posture, in its conduct of politics in the state. Of course, Jammu and Kashmir criminal justice system has collapsed. Of course, it is moribund. It has ceased to give justice to an entire minority which has been cleansed from the valley. Not one crime against that minority has till date been prosecuted or sentenced. Would you call that system, criminal justice system, functional?
Mr. Mattu? Would you like to respond to that, sir? Before you do, let me just tell you this. Rather than you taking a position in which you would possibly have said that there are some allegations that Mr. Yasin Malik has made, and those should be investigated, but he cannot be absolved of what he has done. It just seems you are standing on his side on this issue, sir.
Of course,
its course as far as Yasin is concerned, but let the law also take its course as far as 70,000 dead Kashmiris are concerned. Let us not be selective. Let us not be hypocritical.
If you pick up the gun, you better be dead. If you unleash violence, you will be dealt with violence. You can't expect peace. You can't expect candy floss if you pick up the gun and grenades.
Okay. Let Mr. Mattu respond. Let Mr. Mattu respond. Mr. Mattu, go ahead.
Non-violence. If you can't deal with it, then please tell me what is the incentive to the young man on the street. You don't want to talk to the separatists. What do you want to do?
Mr.
You
Pandit,
pick up the gun, you pick up grenades, you'll be blown to smithereens.
Mr. Pandit, let's just keep our temper in check. Also, let's let each other respond and only then take it forward. Mr. Mattu, very quickly finish your point, sir. I was only making that it seems that you are apologetic for what Yasin Malik did there.
But from the comfort of his armchair is singing praises about his bravado. We know about your cowardice. We know about your lack of conviction.
Cowardice?
Talk about the
Your
debate.
party ran away from the post.
How is Ravinder Rana not guilty
Farooq Abdullah ran away to London, leaving the entire state in the lurch. In 1990, you abdicated your responsibility.
Let's not make it personal. The important thing is for these separatists, the way they should be dealt. If anybody, not even the separatists, anybody who tries to take the law in its hand. Let me just quickly go across to Mr. Khajuria. Mr. Khajuria, when you see this kind of sparring, when you see this kind of the political points being made, somebody being sympathetic to Yasin Malik, almost saying that his actions may be justified because he alleges that the police hurled, some sort of misbehave with his family. What do you make, and how will the cops of the state will see this?
This is exactly what I was referring to, the distinction between politics and criminal offences. If there is a complaint against the police, certainly that also must be looked into. And if somebody has committed some wrong, he should be punished. But there is no justification for the kind of activities that Yasin Malik has been allowed to perpetuate for a very, very long time. As far as the justice system is concerned, the delay obviously is on the part of the prosecution.
Okay.
I am sure after the Honorable High Court gets the list of what we are talking about, they will probably intervene, because this must be one of the longest pending cases in the court. What really is required to be done is that all cases against Yasin Malik must be fast-tracked so that they can be taken to the logical conclusion.
Okay.
And this particular case also, the charge sheet should be produced within a week,
okay,
so that action can be taken and can be punished. What is happening is we take to the soft option of either detaining them in their residences, or send them into five-star comfort. Let the criminal be treated as criminals, and politicians be treated as politicians.
Absolutely. That is the need of the hour, and that possibly should have been done many years ago. Mr. Mattu, my very quick question to you before I get my other two guests into it. If the government, and I'm putting it on a big if, I'm not absolving the BJP or the PDP of this, but if the government decides to take serious, strong action against Yasin Malik, his cases to be fast-tracked, is the NCP expected to support them?
See, cases are fast-tracked and actions are taken under the purview of the law by the judiciary and the legal system, not by MLAs, not by ministers, not by chief ministers.
Will you support the government if it decides to do so?
I'm answering your question in an appropriate manner, not in a manner in which you want me to answer it. If the law finds Yasin Malik guilty under the law of the land, the law is obviously paramount. That is all that I need to say, and the law can take its course. But neither Ravinder Rana, nor Sushil Pandit, nor you, Mr. Ankit, nor Junaid Mattu has a moral, judicial or an institutional right to proclaim somebody guilty even before he has been tried.
Nobody is proclaiming anybody guilty. But when you see a footage like this of a man slapping the policeman, I don't think that there is any doubt left, Mr. Mattu. But very well said. It clearly shows how well politicians, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, are trained to just skirt the issue and to put forward their point. Mr. Rana, now can we expect some sort of a strong action, a will from the government of the day to at least ensure that the policemen, when they go out on the street, they are not embarrassed like this, they are not harassed like this, already in a state where they are target of the terrorists?
Yes, Ankitji, I assure you that in Jammu and Kashmir, assembly session is going on, and tomorrow there is again session, and I assure you that sooner the start of the House, I will definitely, along with my colleague, will raise this issue on the floor of the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, and I hope that government will definitely take action against all the who's involved, found culprit in this video, and
Yes.
we will definitely inquiry will be conducted, and nobody will be given free space in Jammu and Kashmir. Some of the political parties having vested interest are making such an irrelevant statement to demoralize their agenda and aims, and objective is to demoralize
I'm
our
completely out of
security
time on this,
forces,
Mr. Pandit.
and we
Last
vote
10 seconds to you.
I'm really impressed with Mr. Raina. He's giving assurances on behalf of the government where his party has very little clout. And Mr. Mattu is the live example of sophistry and prevarication that has been the hallmark of valley-based mainstream parties who have dragged Kashmir to such a pass.
All right, I'm completely out of time on this, but we are here. We are hoping that at least on an issue like this, when the soldiers, those who are there, the policemen on the ground, they already are being targeted by the terrorists, the political parties and the public at large can come together and show the place of such people, those who dare to take the law in their own hands, be it a separatist, be it anybody else in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. With that, I thank all my guests for joining us on this debate.